To be at the podium right at 11 a.m. So we will get to Vrabel as soon as he gets up to the podium to speak to the media. We will carry that live and in its entirety. But happy Monday, D-Mase, Willy D. How we doing?
Good morning, guys. What's going on?
And how we doing?
D-Mase is having
Hello?
mic issues. Now he's ready to go.
Yeah, well, no
False start, but we're good. 1st and 15. We just do a little hitch to D-Mase. He made a tackler miss. We got the first down. We're back to 1st and 10.
Exactly. So it's back on. Woohoo!
Just further up the field.
Exactly.
Will Titans take down the Patriots in the preseason game on Friday night? I don't really know what the score was, to be frank with everyone. I don't really know if I care.
23-7.
They won.
Yeah,
so that was great and all.
Yeah.
What do we expect Mike Vrabel to say at the podium?
A bunch of jibber jabber and just a bunch of going on and on and on. I don't know. Obviously, the big question is going to be the kicker because you chose to get rid of Bagley after the. You called it, Caroline. He gave you a day. he got cut the day after the game, not before the game, but.
I was just 24 hours behind.
Yeah, just 24 hours behind. But, I mean, he set it up, in the prior week. He said, listen, he gets a crack at it. We'll bring somebody else in. So I think my thing with this whole situation is, was this really going to be your kicker anywhere, or you had to have somebody because you cut the other two guys?
Well, he didn't exactly. We'll definitely get into
confidence.
We'll get into this.
Kicker situation for sure, but Mike Vrabel is up at the podium, so we'll send it over to St. Thomas Sports Park now.
Injury, I don't think that's something that he's, trained for. He could do it in an emergency, and did do it, and just was ready to do it. But I don't think we would start there.
Much, I guess, the lingering injuries make it difficult this time of year when you're trying to get down to 53, deciding how long.
Well, I think that's part of it, and seeing how guys are going to, do you have to carry them? Do you have to, you're going to put them on IR with some sort of designation and for a return, and all part of the process of getting to 53 tomorrow afternoon.
You talked before the season about tweaking your training regimen to 2 days on and then a one-day walkthrough. What did the data through training camp show you how that went?
From a soft tissue perspective, I would say, in training camp, good. Again, I think some of our injuries, the majority of our injuries occurred during games. So we'll have to see where that goes and continue to monitor it and try to make sure that everybody's ready to go. And when things come up, address them, treat them. But I think that through training camp, I thought that I didn't feel like we had a lot of receivers or DBs with hamstring issues or things like that normally would show up with that, those position groups.
You feel like this is kind of the new formula you're going to take forward then, that this really had an impact on that?
We weren't far off, from this last year. Again with the jog throughs, and if we look back, we did this similar thing last year. So I think that's it's where we were this year. We'll see where it is next year and see where we're at. But I thought that the guys handled it pretty well as far as just how they approached the day and were able to get work in and install and go out on the field and just lower the volume.
With the offensive line, what's left between now and the season opener that you have to accomplish? As far as the right tackle position, for you to name a guy to be the starter there.
Right now, Chris is the starter. That could change. Justin's here. Dylan's getting to practice. We're going to work through, Jalen hopefully be back out there today. Keep practicing, keep competing. Things can change. It's nothing that's set in stone throughout anywhere, maybe a few positions. But, I thought they responded well yesterday to some of the corrections, conversations coming out of the game. And I think they know what we expect or what I expect. And the ability to protect the guy with the football, whether that's when we run it or whether we throw it.
Mike, how is Will Levis feeling, and are you hoping to get a full week of practice out of him?
Yeah, I anticipate Will being out there, and I think he's, for a young player, I thought he stayed really engaged in what we're doing offensively, and just had a professional approach to not being on the field, which some guys it's difficult. They lose focus because they know they're not practicing, or maybe not playing in the game. I felt like just his preparation leading up to the game was lockstep. I saw him communicating with with Malik and the coaches, so there's just a lot of maturity there. Through player's career, they're going to deal with some sort of absence and how they handle it, and so I thought it's a pretty good start for Will.
And that goes out of the building, or does that start Monday?
I think that starts after tomorrow, and there's going to be some modification. Nick will be back after I think 3 games into the building, allow him to lift and work out here, and be involved in meetings. Just nothing with practice, so that's good. So that he can come in here, he can work out, he can treat, be at meetings, and just not have any involvement with practice or be at the games.
Do you feel like now with the opener on the horizon, like the bulk of the issues you had last year outside of injuries are fixed to your satisfaction and been addressed?
The issues? I mean, we're going to have issues every year that we're going to have to deal with.
Right, but last year's, like that you're starting at a point where you feel like...
I mean, I think everybody does. I think that's where you go in at. You take care of the football and turn it over more. If you could tell me that's going to happen, then I'll tell you, yeah. But I mean, you practice and prepare for it. But what matters is what you do out on the game. Practice is important. I understand that. We believe that. I think your ability to make plays on the practice field lead to what you do in the game. But also, you have to go out and do it in the game. You have to block them. You have to tackle. You have to turn the football over. You have to be able to take care of it, protect the quarterback, and make contested catches and all those things.
So how do you get the confidence level that what you've done through practice translates in the game, or is that just what you see against New Orleans is what you get?
I'm not really sure. I know that we've had some really good examples of us making plays against Minnesota, us making plays in the game against Minnesota, us having, running a 4-minute operation, closing the game out. We're going to need to do that, hopefully, in 17 games. I don't think it'll be 17, but I'd like it to be. But we've also had examples of us, playing man coverage, getting off the field, affecting the quarterback. We were able to throw the ball. One thing I thought was really cool coming out of the game was that we went in with some specifics on special teams and on defense and on offense. And, we averaged 10.5 yards an attempt in the game on offense. So we were able to hit some plays down the field. We got a really cool DPI penalty that was going to go unnoticed from Chris Moore, but came back. Guy wasn't playing the ball. Those are things we coach. So I guess that translated. We talked about the net on the punt team. We worked that. We worked drills on that. And then to go and be able to show the guys after the game that here's the net. We're not following guys down maybe in the same lane like we were in Minnesota, or after the Vice, incident with the returner with Kyle, which is unacceptable. Early on, all our vices on the punt return were good. So those are things that I think that we can point to when we go in and say, hey, here's the focus. This is what we're concentrating on. Let's see if we can't get it done. And then when you do it, then we showed the team on, I guess, whatever it was yesterday.
Julius Chestnut's shown some production offensively. How has he done special teams-wise?
Good. I think he was one of the guys that we had talked about improving on the kickoff, first kickoff against Minnesota. He was a backside 2, didn't quite necessarily squeeze tight enough. He was running like heck, but just didn't squeeze tight enough, and you can't bend and make the play. So that was another example we talked about improving there, and we saw that on our kickoff coverage. So, and Julius is, he's locked in, he's involved, and he's engaged in the meetings, and translating to his willingness to go down there on kickoff or be on a wing on a punt team, or off returner or returner on the kickoff return.
Jeff was talking about he and Landry teaming up against Kia and Autry for some kind of internal competition. You like when guys come up with something to ramp things up, practice situations and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think that the energy, the competitiveness, I think is great. Those guys work together a lot out on the field, and the more that they can have those types of conversations and understanding of where guys are at, whether they call a game or not, or just being able to play off each other, and those instinctive players that can continue to communicate with each other. Hopefully they can help each other.
Year 1 to year 2, just have you seen Trey Avery grow, and kind of what are the next steps for him as a corner?
Trey's just kind of shows up, doesn't say a whole lot, does his job, competes. Getting him more comfortable down the field. We're going to have to continue to rep those things downfield. The ability to play the football and look back and play the football and not lose ground, is something that all our DBs can continue to improve on. Just understanding the rules, that they're going to give you more leeway with contact when you're looking at playing the ball. The downside of that is sometimes when you play the ball, you can kind of lose some ground on the man, and that's the challenge, and that's stuff that we've talked about. So, there was instances against Justin Jefferson and SMB in Minnesota, and playing the football, leaning back, but also not drifting and letting 3 yards of separation go for a catch. So, I think that it's back to what Paul had asked, that there's examples, and when those things come up, we try to show them. So Trey's, that's something that he could work on, but he's one of our most competitive hold-up guys on punt return. We feel comfortable putting him in a single, and he's going to compete. So I love his competitiveness. Doesn't say a whole lot, does his job, tries to use the techniques that we ask of him.
Caleb Murphy had 4 sacks in the 3 games. What more did you see from him on film other than what kind of jumped out?
Right. That's what it is. These guys get into a pass rush situation, and he was able to affect the quarterback in multiple ways. And, ran a couple games, had a couple nice moves in Minnesota. Needs to continue to try to find a role on special teams. Would love for all our outside linebackers that don't play a bunch of snaps or heavy load to be involved in special teams. That's something that goes on pretty much everywhere.
You talked before about how difficult these couple of days can be because of the relationship you have with guys. What's your message to the guys who maybe get bad news in the next 24 hours or so, and then what's your message to the 53 plus you'll have here starting Wednesday?
Well, I would say that, starting with the 53, that the roster, we need to prove ourselves every day. Like this business can, nothing's guaranteed, and what the roster looks like on Wednesday is going to be different than what it looks like a week from Wednesday, and so on and so forth. We're always going to be looking to churn the roster. That would be my message to them, is that's not the time to relax and take a deep breath. And then unfortunately we will have to move on from some players. Do it in, whether we bring them back or we don't. Try to tell them that if they ever need something, that they've shown well for themselves, and that we would call anybody that they need me to call and help them however we can help them, and know that we could possibly bring you back if we don't bring you back on the initial wave of the practice squad. Because when you try to make a connection with them, it is difficult, and but we all know that not everybody's going to make it. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, there you go. That was Mike Vrabel at the podium. We'll react to what he had to say coming up next, plus our thoughts and takeaways from the Titans' final preseason game on Friday night. That coming up next. Caroline, Willy, D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
We are live and local.
It will help them get better players. I'm really excited about this defensive front.
And your source for Nashville sports.
They had missed the playoffs.
Those players may end up being practice squad guys.
We are Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey home buyers, TJ Anderson here. Are you looking for a luxury home on over an acre, 7 bedrooms, 9 bathrooms, and close to 7,000 square feet? 6551 Brownlee Drive in Nashville's Westmead neighborhood offers that and a 4th car garage, all by an award-winning builder. Text the number 1 to 615-420-2377 for pricing and info. Want your home on the radio? Google TJ Anderson Homes and see why we are referred by clients so often. TJ Anderson Homes at Benchmark Realty, office number 615-432-2919.
Hey, it's Jared for PhD Weight Loss. I've been on the program now all summer, and I am approaching the 30-pound mark for weight loss. That's right. We're getting so close. It's been wonderful, and I'm excited each and every morning to get started with my personalized PhD nutrition program that my coach put together for me. I appreciate the fact that PhD Weight Loss hasn't overwhelmed my life, but it's enhanced it. From feeling better about myself in pictures to having increased energy, PhD is great for me, and the program is simple. In fact, we've recently tweaked it so that we can bust through that plateau. If you're someone who has struggled to lose weight, go to myphdweightloss.com and check it out for yourself. They've got the coaching, the program, and their guarantee. If you don't get within 5 pounds of your target weight by the end of your program, PhD will continue to coach you for free until you do. That's PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition, the official partner of the Clemson Tigers organization and fans, online at myphdweightloss.com.
Houston Clinic Orthopedics at TriStar Skyline offers world-class orthopedic care. The doctors at their Dickerson Road location specialize in general orthopedics, arthroscopic surgery for general orthopedics and sports medicine, hip, knee, and shoulder, as well as hand, wrist, and elbow trauma. They offer same-day appointments, too, so you can get back to enjoying life sooner. Schedule your appointment now at tn.houston.com. Conveniently located at the TriStar Skyline Medical Center in Nashville. When experience matters, trust Houston Clinic Orthopedics.
It's time to let your voice be heard. Nashville is headed to a runoff in the mayoral race on Thursday, September 14th. Stand up and be counted. Cromwell Media reminds you to get out and vote for the future of our city.
At the Home Depot, Saturdays are about 2 things. Getting ready for company with the Samsung Family Hub Plus refrigerator.
And football.
That's right, Kirk Herbstreit. Search for recipes, check out scores, or even stream the game to the screen at the same time, so you never miss a second of the action. Which means you can make your famous buffalo chicken dip and have more time for football. For football. Upgrade your Saturday with Samsung and the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Anyone want to tell me what happened? Did you miss any of today's show?
It's okay. It's fine. Don't worry.
Subscribe to the Caroline, Willy, and D-Mase podcast on Apple, Spotify, and other podcast platforms, or by going to theGameNashville.com.
All right, I'll give it a shot.
Having some fun in the midday.
Yeah, that's awesome.
This is Caroline, Willy, and D-Mase on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Caroline, Willy, D-Mase is brought to you by Zen Sports. Start earning cash rewards on your bets today. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 or older and in Tennessee to bet. Just heard from Mike Vrabel. First time we'll hear from him, I guess the last time we'll hear from him before roster cutdown day tomorrow. The list will be revealed around 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. But not really much there from Mike Vrabel, although we did hear that our dear old friend Dylan Radins has returned, so he'll be out on the practice field. So that's just wonderful news.
He'll be on the practice field.
Everybody was waiting to hear.
So now the question is, what do they do with him? He has not officially made the team. Is he?
And he tore his ACL in December.
Yeah, so I don't think he's ready to jump in there and back up. He hasn't practiced. So what do you do with him?
I mean, we did discuss. They could, cut him, put him on a practice squad, and let him rehab further from there. Because I don't think anyone in the NFL is going to touch him in regards to trying to put them on their team, considering he just came off an ACL. So you would be saving a roster spot, cut him, put him on practice squad, and then once he's able to play, you can always bring him back.
And, you know, there's two sides to that. You put him on the practice squad. I don't think that anyone's really foaming at the mouth to go pick up Dylan Radins. And the second part of that is if they do, then now you don't have to deal with Dylan Radins. So maybe it's a win-win situation there. But I wanted to get to the big story of the day. Titans take down the Patriots in their third and final preseason game on Friday night. It was, again, the Malik Willis show for a majority of the game, other than that one series from Ryan Tannehill where he handed the ball off 3 times.
Yeah.
What do we think of Malik Willis on Friday night?
I think he did a really good job, honestly. I think he solidified himself, and I think I text you guys that, girls, that I think he's, staking his claim as the backup quarterback. Did some really, really good things out there. The offensive line didn't help in that first series. I think that would have been a touchdown to Chris Moore had he been able to follow through